To talk about how AI can help decision-making, we're joined today by Rohhit Tandon, co-founder and CEO, and Meghan Richter, head of marketing, both from Yoonify. What are the current challenges agencies face in terms of efficiency, decision-making, and workflows?
So we've known that for a long time in the government sector, there's been a pretty accepted assumption. You can either do things fast or you can do them right, but you can't do both. And we know that accuracy is absolutely critical. So speed has always been the thing that's given way. And that does make sense. But today's decisions involve mass amounts of documents, multiple stakeholders, and strict audit requirements. And the tools that most agencies are using just are not built for that level of skill. So you start to see a few compounding challenges. The first is that decisions are going to take longer than they should. The second is that information is scattered across systems. And then finally, the teams are spending more time tracking things down and double checking work versus actually making the decisions. And you've got plenty of experienced staffers in the agency models, but they're stretched way too thin just trying to hold everything together.
So how can AI help, especially with respect to procurement and compliance? Why is an AI native approach important?
So for procurement and compliance functions, specifically within the agency models, AI can have a major impact because fundamentally they're document heavy and rules driven. We know that these processes require teams to read large volumes of data like RFPs, proposals, contracts, policies, regulations, and then they need to apply the same standards consistently every single time. This is exactly the type of environment where AI really does perform best and can add the most value for agencies. So even on its own, the application of AI can create meaningful improvements over the traditional manual approaches. But when AI is native to the workflow, the impacts are really compounding. AI can continuously reason across all documents all at once, and then apply the same rules every single time and surface decisions that are clearly supported by evidence. And that only really truly works when AI is integrated across the entire process from start to finish. This is the true difference between AI native and bolt-on solutions. AI simply layered into existing systems might speed up a task or two, but the core decision workflows will essentially stay the same.
What are some of the pitfalls agencies encounter when adopting AI for these functions?
Beyond the pitfall I just mentioned around bolted-on AI solutions, another major challenge we see really centers around trust and governance. If AI outputs can't clearly be traced back to source documents, policies, and rules, or if that underlying data isn't well governed and kept up to date, agencies really struggle to rely on results and meet certain transparency and audit requirements. We also see a risk around agencies automating too quickly. This can become problematic when AI is used to replace human judgment instead of being put in place to support it. What we see happening is that confidence in decision-making will drop, internal resistance will increase, and environments like agencies where accountability is king, that really impacts the success and the long-term adoption of these tools. So the strongest way to avoid these types of pitfalls would be, one, to make sure that the AI you're using is embedded directly into the workflows so it looks at your data as inputs more comprehensively. And then the second is to always keep humans in the loop when adopting solutions to ensure that the integrity of key thinking and decision-making is intact.
Can you recommend some best practices for agencies that want to apply AI to decision-making workflows? What high-level solution should they consider?
When we talk of best practices, we always start with outcomes. Agencies want to move faster, but not at the expense of compliance and accountability. That is why we usually frame this conversation around three basic principles of efficiency, control, and trust. First is efficiency. Agencies should prioritize workflows that are decision-centric, document-heavy, where teams have to interpret complex information under strict rules and oversight. These are areas where mistakes in errors or delays can be very costly. Some examples would be procurement bid evaluations, compliance reviews, policy interpretations, or contract management. Generative AI can help in these areas by accelerating analysis and boosting decision velocity. Second is trust. Explainability and traceability should be built from the very start. Every AI interpreted output should be traceable directly back to the source documents, governing rules, and decision logic. That level of transparency is what gives agencies the ability to stand behind their decisions, defend them when necessary, and have confidence in the results. And then lastly, and very critical, is control. A human in the loop model is non-negotiable. AI may interpret and provide recommendations. However, humans should retain the ability to validate, approve, and even override that information so that they are accountable for final decisions and outcomes. So ultimately, the most effective solutions are those that are AI native and workflow integrated and bring all these three principles together of efficiency, trust, and control. So ultimately, the most effective solutions are those that are AI native and embedded into the workflows of the organization while maintaining the three principles of efficiency, trust, and control. They drive efficiency by streamlining end-to-end processes, maintain trust by having traceable decision logic, and keeping humans firmly in control.
How does Yoonify help agencies become more efficient and cost effective? And how can Yoonify help agencies deal better with data?
I'd like to start with data first. We know that data lives in organizations in many disparate locations, and most often these are not interconnected. That is why we commonly refer to them as data silos. Data connectivity, accessibility, and protection is of vital importance to large organizations. That is where Unified Solution Vibe comes in. It creates a centralized intelligence layer that helps to connect disparate data sources. So stakeholders, whether in the organization or outside, through role-based access control, can access that data instantly, either on their phone or PDA or their computer. This helps the organizations to have data accessible to users when they need it, where they need it, and completely securely with end-to-end encryption without adding any overhead of new data centers or warehouses in the organization. AI native workflow integrated platform helps agencies to bring speed as well as rigor and accountability in their procurement process. Procurement helps agencies to ingest complex, unstructured data, be able to use that data to evaluate disparate bids, be able to provide explanation about why one option is stronger than another, while maintaining full traceability back to source documents, governing rules, and decision logic. At the same time, it provides complete control by having humans the ability to review and override the decisions given by AI. This helps the agencies to move faster, keep humans in control, and maintain full accountability and rigor in their process. And thus, it provides them the opportunity to build trust internally with their vendors and ultimately with the public.
Can you share a case study or some common use cases?
We implemented Vibe for a Fortune 500 company that is in the oil and gas and energy sector. And this company had three disparate data sources that needed to be connected for users. They were able to do that through Vibe. The solution was audited by one of the big four auditing companies independently that gave full green marks to the Vibe solution. And the company has now rolled it out to 7,000 happy users that is helping them improve their efficiency in their daily work by up to 35 to 40%. In one of the companies, which is a Fortune 500 company, we implemented Procuremate, and this company that does $4 billion of procurement a year saw their bid evaluation times come down from 6 to 8 weeks to literally 3 to 4 hours, bringing them radical efficiency in the entire procurement cycle.
So, what would be two takeaways that you'd like our audience to leave this talk with?
So there are 3 simple takeaways we'd like to leave you with. First is AI native platforms really do matter. They transform entire workflows, not just individual tasks. Next is explainability and human oversight are non-negotiable in the public sector. And third, when applied thoughtfully, AI doesn't replace expertise, it amplifies it. We believe that agencies that adopt AI with these principles in mind, they won't just operate faster, they'll operate smarter and more sustainably over time.